Hello, all, and welcome to Middle Age Geeks. My name is Phil, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Daz. Daz, what's the story?
I'm good, man. Good. Had a lovely birthday week. Birthday week. Yeah, like in the 46 to 50 age category now, which is kind of fucking scary. But yeah, behind me, you can't see it. It's on a shelf. Got a lovely present from Phil, the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix. Cool model ship. Fucking badass.
Such
Because
a
we
cool
are
ship.
dorks that give each other birthday presents every year. We have been doing for 25 years now. But yeah, been a good week. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Fucking, it's. I haven't got into a whole lot of new stuff, but we'll get to that when we get into that section. But yeah, no, it's been a nice chill week, which is good, and now we're into a nice another bank holiday weekend, so no complaints.
Mm.
So for those of you at home, we are primarily a movie review podcast, but we will do a bit of news and what we've been getting into at the start before we get into it. This week's movie is Thunderbolts. As we told you last week, we were going
Oh,
to
yeah.
review that. So Daz is going to take us through that one. But yeah, on the subject of news, Daz, have you got anything that's jumped out at you this week?
Yeah, I think the main thing has been GTA 6 being delayed to May 2026. You called it months ago, and I'm sure even the most eager GTA fan would have been accepting this or expecting this at some point, given the lack of a release date. Coming into May. It's a
Yeah.
shame because but GTA games are they're always delayed. But given the scope of the game and let alone the scope and the immense pressure being put on this game to deliver after like a 12, 13 year wait. I mean, I can wait another year. It'd be annoying, but I can wait another year. But yeah, it's pretty.
It's a long time between games.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and I
not
get it.
3 months. It's
Yeah,
like a year.
and
Fuck.
they've been obviously they've been making a bucket load off GTA 4, GTA Online. There was,
Mm,
I'm sure they weren't exactly rushing to put this out, but I'm yeah, like I'm of the opinion of I'd rather get a fully working game than something that comes out that isn't
absolutely.
finished. You saw what happened when Cyberpunk was rushed out, and
Yeah, fuck
it's
that.
nothing on the game that it is now. But yeah, a bit of a bummer, but
Yeah, and then there's a few trailers that popped up that piqued my interest. Out of nowhere, a documentary trailer for Wick is Pain, which is a look at kind of behind the scenes of the first John Wick movie, featuring a look at the stunts and a wealth of like superb behind the scenes footage, and with the cast and filmmakers and Keanu Reeves involved as well. And it kind of looks at how the movie was made and the struggles it faced. A
yeah,
couple of quotes in there about they need to find $5 million in 5 days, and it's
yeah, Ava Longoria,
remo-
wasn't it?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like holy
yeah,
shit. And yeah, producers having to remortgage houses and stuff like that, because you think of it, it's such a big action franchise nowadays. It's stellar stuff, but back then it was such a gamble. Like, it was a small little action movie, and Keanu Reeves was back in kind of incognito mode back then. So yeah, it's fitting that something like this is coming out, that in a year, when the Oscars are finally recognizing stunts as a category,
yeah.
that this will kind of lean, I think, a lot into from the footage I've seen, a lot into the stunts and the prep work and the amount of work that goes into making it look as incredible as it did. But yeah, this hits, I think, streaming on May 9th. And yeah, it looks really cool. And yeah, then another one, your favorite production house, A24, releasing a trailer for The Smashing Machine. And I didn't even know this was in production.
Yeah, I'd seen ads,
File.
all right, but I hadn't seen the trailer until today.
Yeah, and I'm kind of not really The Rock's biggest fan after like his social media. He just seems like a bit of a buffoon, but he looks unrecognizable in this. It looks
It really does, yeah.
looks like one of his most exciting roles. Like, and he looks like he's really there's no Rock stuff in it. There's no like identifiable Rock eyebrow in any of this shit. But it follows Mark Kerr and his rise in the early stages of the MCU of the UFC,
Hmm.
following his like addiction and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's very much got awards buzz kind of look to it. Like, he just looks different, but even his acting looks like it's gonna step up considerably just from the trailer alone. But he's teaming up with Emily Blunt again, who they were teaming after the Jungle Cruise or whatever fucking movie they did together. They obviously hit it off. But yeah, it's got a real wrestler, the wrestler
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
kind of vibe, where it's really gritty and it's not going to shy away from tackling some dark elements of that. And it's directed by Ben Safdie, one half of the Safdie brothers who directed Uncut Gems, which I fucking loved. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
And he does like,
Came
and
out of nowhere.
it's mad. He had the teeth and everything that he has. Like
Mm.
they've really changed the look of his face, everything. Like
Yeah, it just makes
I'm
him
looking forward to
talk
that
differently.
one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, it could be that this could be the kind of, as you said, the wrestler. I mean, Mickey Rourke's already an established actor, like, but this could be something for him to prove that he can act. I mean,
Absolutely.
some of these guys have made the transfer over and done really well. Like, I'm huge Dave Bautista fan. I think he's like
Oh
the
yeah.
transition he made over, and now he's even lost weight, muscle. Anyway, he's lost muscles that he can try and get into more roles. He's not just the
Yeah,
big
not just be the
thing.
beefcake. Yeah.
But like even just the small little roles he's been great in. I think of like Blade Runner,
Oh
2049.
yeah.
You know, it's just like he's excellent. So like I'd be more than happy for that. I'm not gonna forget the personality wise. He's such a superstar. The Rock. It'd be interesting to see if he can pull out some proper acting chops, because we do mostly see him in either action or comedy action.
Yeah. I mean, how hard is it for him to not raise his eyebrows? Doing it 50,000
There's probably
times a day.
prosthetic. There's probably loads of prosthetic on his forehead to stop.
Tape.
Damn it, we're going to have to get CGI.
Yeah, CGI eyebrows. But yeah, that was pretty much it. How about yourself?
And not a whole lot, just another trailer popped up for me, which was the one for Together. So the husband and wife team of Dave Franco and Alison Brie, who've worked on a few projects together. They have this one coming out, and it looks like a horror mystery kind of thing. Possibly
starts off like
horror.
A romantic comedy. The romantic
trailer
comedy
does,
starts off with
yeah.
the classical music, and you made me watch it, and it was how weird is this going to get?
But it looks it looks possibly kind of body horror, or and then things mixing together, DNA or whatever it is, kind of mixing together, has this kind of gave me a bit of an Annihilation kind of vibe. So I'm really interested to see that one. I like both of those actors, so it'll be decent one. It's not out until August, I think, so it's a good while away to get more information on it. But
yeah, it looks fantastic. But I do hope there's something else we are reviewing that week, because I might skip it, because it's just that trailer is so much like a teaser. Teases at horrific things that could, or horrific visuals. It just gives a little tease, and it's like, that's enough.
I think over the last year now, you've probably seen.
I'm getting better. Yeah.
But no, nothing else on my end. So look, with the news part out of the way, have you been getting into anything new game wise or watching over the last week?
Watching really just the new episode of The Last of Us, which I thought was great. Again, you can't really go into too much spoilers with these kind of episodes, but it was nice to get a look at the aftermath of episode 2 in have some time with some of the characters, because like in the game, when these things happen after a cutscene, you are kind of thrust into more gameplay. And Neil Druckmann said that. He said with the benefits of TV and this kind of narrative, where you can actually, if something happens, you can stay with the characters and explore their the effects of events and stuff like that. So I thought that was really good. And I thought Bella Ramsey was really fucking great in episode 3. Like, I was worried about it after episode 1. Not so much worried, but she just had this kind of teeny angst that you're kind of going, she's going to just be a shithead, just like not doing what you're told and all this kind of stuff. But thoroughly on her side in episode 3. She's monstrous performance.
It's great to see. Great to see the Seraphites. Like the come into. I mean, that's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer for the next episode. It's like that whole side of it are great, and they look exactly like it. And the lines and everything that are coming out with are very similar to the game. Yeah, the scars and stuff. It's I think that Dina's situation seems to be what it's going to be as well in the game. There's a few changes. I think this one probably had there's a good few different parts that were a little bit different. With regards to what characters help out where and stuff. What happens with Tommy or doesn't happen based on the game. So there's definitely a few changes there. But I'm just looking forward to seeing more of because the whole idea of, if you play the video game, they're home-based Wolf guys, the WLF Abby's crew. Like, that's in a fucking stadium. Like, so I'm dying to see that they use that. I'm sure there's a fucking few empty ones lying around the States. So.
Yeah. But that's interesting, kind of going forward and seeing where because that the second game is over season 2 and 3, where they leave it. I was trying to think of the game, and where they leave a kind of cliffhanger at the end of this season would be interesting. It's only 4 more episodes to go, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, loving it.
And are you playing the same games or jumping anything new?
Yeah, still playing Expedition 33, which just gets better and better. I mean, I'm absolutely falling in love with this combat now. It's more challenging and demanding in terms of setting up attacks, and this turn-based combat I'm really getting into. But as one of my friends said, like, but that's because this has turn-based combat and there's a
Yeah, the real
kind
time
of
reaction.
real-time Souls-like kind of combat. But yeah, it's just fucking great. Like some of the risk reward with dodging and parrying. Yeah, it's just excellent. I'm fucking loving it. But I actually inadvertently ended up playing Minecraft with my daughter this last week. This is Jesus Christ. See your face just like, oh no. Well, the story starts with my daughter talking to someone in school about Minecraft and then wanted to go see it. So I actually went to see the movie with her. And yeah, she fucking loved it. And that actually touches on, like, there was a bit of feedback we got this week about somebody saying about our review of Minecraft, saying, dude, it's a fucking it's a movie for kids or whatever. And I was actually, no, technically it's not. Like, the average age for Minecraft player is 18 to 24 apparently. Da-da-da. But yeah, it kind of is for kids because my daughter fucking loved it. She was
But
dancing. Yeah.
plenty of movies are for kids, but they still should be good. I mean, Inside Out is made for kids. It's a great movie. They still,
Yeah.
it is. Can't just say it's for kids, so it's allowed to be shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
there's no excuse for that.
kids,
Like,
kids deserve good movies too. Like,
it can play on the humor and silliness of kids stuff, but it doesn't need to be as lazy and relying on Jack Black turning up to 11 in terms of acting buffoonery on shows. It's just grating. It's just but yeah, daughter danced for the entire end credits, laughed her ass off. Like, the amount of time the Lava Chicken song is uttered in my house by me and her. La 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 lava. She's fucking loving it. But after that, I was looking for a game actually for her to play on Game Pass, and we were scrolling through, and she was just like, oh, she spotted Minecraft. It's like, oh no, what have I done? And yeah, so she started playing it, and I was worried because I thought her introduction to 3D gaming would be like Mario 64 or Mario Odyssey or something, not fucking Minecraft. For the first 5 minutes, she was staring at the sky spinning around. It's just like, maybe she's only 5. Like, maybe it's a bit too early for twin stick stuff. But then after about 10 minutes, she's flying around. She was in creator mode, so she's just smashing stuff, building stuff, and she was flying around with the sticks, no bother. And she somehow figured out how to make the character fly in the game at one point. I was like, how did you do that? She's like, Daddy, you just press a button and make it fly. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, I've no idea what that game is about or anything. Like, I don't know anything about Minecraft. I only know it by watching my daughter play it now, which is kind of excruciating. But I had a little go and I was like, oh, that's a bit of fun. I built her a house and shit. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have been playing and watching. Lots of Minecraft and other stuff. How about you?
definitely not Minecraft. No, I mean, I've been playing a bit more of
No?
a bit more Expedition 33 as well. But I'm a good bit behind you. I'm hoping this weekend, the bank holiday, got a few bits to do tomorrow, and then get stuck in. And I've been playing a few older games on like a retro console that I got. So I've been playing Metroid Fusion, and I started Zelda, the Minish Cap as well.
Nice.
Well, I've been jumping in and out of all these, because it's like arcade games and stuff on it. So like the old X-Men game from the arcade, the old Alien side-scrolling games from the arcade are all on it. So yeah, I've been messing around with that. That's been good fun. But yeah, nothing really new. I haven't watched anything. I don't think that's, apart from The Last of Us, nothing new. I've kind of just been watching whatever, my usual fucking British crime procedurals that I like to have on in the background. All right, cool. Well, look, that's those two sections out of the way. Let's move on to the main event, which, as we said at the start, is Thunderbolts, which was just released this week. So, Daz, whenever you're ready, why don't you take us on through that one?
Super duper. So yeah, Thunderbolts. This is the new Marvel movie, which is attempting to, I guess, steer the meandering MCU ship back into safer waters and get it back on track. We saw it last night, and it's directed by Jake Schreier, who didn't really know anything about it. He directed like Robot and Frank, uh, 2012. But he recently directed like some of the award-winning Beef TV series. I don't know if you've seen that,
Yeah.
but is competent enough. Written by Joanna Callow, who was the Bear showrunner and writer, and Eric Pearson, who co-wrote Black Widow. And it stars David Harbour, Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, and a number of other misfits. The budget was 180 million. Approximately, which I thought, that was a bit of a shock. I thought it was something. I thought they were going to save a bit on the budget. And the Rotten Tomato score is a pleasant 88% from 237 reviews. And so first we give it a little brief synopsis, and then we'll get kind of stuck into non-spoiler stuff, and then spoilerific stuff after that. So the brief synopsis is: the movie follows a band of misfits and unconventional anti-heroes who find themselves ensnared in a death trap with a mysterious civilian Bob. They all embark on a treacherous mission afterwards that forces them to confront the darkest corners of their past. And yeah, that's a pretty good synopsis. So yeah, firstly, we chatted a bit after the movie because we saw it together for a change, which is great. Nice on IMAX. So yeah, what were your initial thoughts coming out of it and today?
Yeah, I'm happy with it, man. I was kind of because it could have easily flopped. These are a bunch of kind of, if you've only seen the Black Widow movie, that's the only time you would have seen Florence Pugh. She was in a few episodes of the Hawkeye TV show. And if you haven't watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV program, you don't know anything about John Walker. So it's kind of like, okay, are you going to know that he's going to be big enough to hold their own story? But it was great. It was a different kind of story. I loved that there was so much around facing our own demons and mental health. They even talk about him being, there's a talk about drugs, a drug addict, which he is in the games or in the comics as well. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought the effects were great. I love what you would have seen in the trailer, that kind of almost turning people into shadows, dust across the ground. That thing was really well done. Good. Yeah. Though I didn't really have too many gripes, man. I enjoyed it. I thought the score was good. It was just a lot of fun, and it did the budget is very high considering there's a couple of action set pieces, like decent ones, but nothing on like the scale that I would have expected to see. 180 million. That is a lot. I didn't realize that was the budget.
Yeah, that was definitely a shock to me. Yeah, I thought, to echo your thoughts completely, I thought this movie was super. Like I was pleasantly surprised. Like I didn't know what we were. I kind of had an idea that we were going to get something that was like, from the initial reviews, that it wasn't going to go the way of being, another misfire. That people were saying, oh, it's fun and all this, but it was kind of a breath of fresh air. That and kind of a self-contained movie. There are references to Captain America 4 and stuff, and names dropped here and there, and we'll get into kind of post-credit scenes and all that. But it's just a lovely kind of, almost like, it does get grand in the last act, but it's kind of a smaller scale story, just following these a band of, as I said, kind of misfits and anti-heroes kind of coming together, a la kind of Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that, where it's not as good as I think a movie like that, but again, what I loved is it doesn't shy away from going into the kind of deeper and darker themes of trauma and pain and ultimate redemption. But there's a lot of talk about loneliness and loss and anger and self-worth and mental fragility, and it's not just, oh, we'll tick that and get a line for the trailer. They go kind of dark into it with some of the flashbacks and stuff, and they're such flawed characters. And some of the characters, I think, I don't know if it's saying they're underserviced, but with an ensemble like this, I guess they can't. Everyone can't have a
I get that, but that would have been one of my gripes. Like I get that you can't give everybody, and like Florence Pugh is obviously the best, probably one of the best, best actor there. And so she, for the most part, it almost feels like it's her movie. But I felt like they definitely gave more to some of the team than it did to the other. Like I would have loved to see more of Ghost. Fanny John came in. I would have liked to see way more of her. They gave her this fucking super badass outfit, and she
Yeah,
You know,
she gets a few
it's
moments, but that's it.
she gets a few cool moments, but yeah, there's not really enough. She doesn't get enough great dialogue. She's almost just echoing what Florence Pugh is saying half the time, and there's not
Mm.
really getting new coming from her. Would like to see more lines and give her a decent part. Um, but yeah, like they're flawed heroes. This isn't your Suicide Squad. These are
Mm.
people who are trying to they are doing bad shit, but they also want to do good as well, and it's I like that. It makes something a little bit more complex than
Yeah.
we're used to getting from some of our superhero characters.
Yeah, and it's just like I just love the kind of the setup of the characters as well. It's I mean they are like I guess the was it John Walker, the Captain,
U.S.
the
agent, yeah,
U.S. agent Captain America guy. Like I hadn't seen the Falcon TV show, and I barely remembered Ghost from the Ant-Man movies, and Taskmaster is in this as well. And again, didn't really remember them too much. So, but it's nice at the start when and you see it from the trailer, you get a nice setup, and there's enough time there dedicated to just give them all like to set up the relationships between them and the antagonistic elements, and that's all well and good. And the what's the guy Lewis Pullman who plays Bob?
yeah,
Um, thought he was fantastic in this movie, and you can't really go into a lot about his character, but he's great because a lot is asked of him, and he's kind of missing from from most of the trailers and press stuff. But he was excellent. But I did love the setup of the characters and how it gives them enough time that you're on board with all of them to a certain degree, and then it kind of takes off. But yeah, Ghost is under service, and I definitely would have liked to see a bit more of U.S. agent guy. But what did you think then? Or like, what do you think about the humor in it? Because it's a funny movie as well. It does tackle darker themes and stuff, but I thought it was quite funny.
yeah. Especially, I mean, David Harbour is just fucking.
He's brilliant.
He is absolutely brilliant. You've seen some of the funny stuff from him in the trailer as well. But yeah, he provides great comic relief. Like he's cracking jokes left, right, and center. Like, and it is funny. And yeah, there's what's her face, Valentina, played by Julie Louise Dreyfus.
Mm.
She has some funny stuff as well, especially with her assistant, and she's just ruthless. And she's great. He got Bunk from fucking Bunk. I forget the actor's name from The Warrior. What is his name? That actor is his Isaiah.
Wendell Pierce.
That's
Wendell
it.
Pierce.
Yeah.
He's badass.
Yeah. He's great. Like there's some good comedy in it. There's some good. There's heart to it as well, which is great. Mm. And I loved the moments you would see you hear the voiceover in the trailer of David Harbour's character talking to Florence Pugh's character, and some of their moments together are gorgeous. You know, it's yeah, I guess it's the feeling I feel most is surprise. You know, I know I said I was looking forward to it, but because of the way Marvel movies have been going, I was just like, oh, this is just, it's not going to do it. This isn't going to be the one that's going to reboot it. You know, it's not going to be the one that's going to get it back on track. But it kind of felt like it was. Like this was old. This is kind of old fashioned, fucking phase 1 or 2 Marvel. Just solid movie, funny, decent action, great performances. And they didn't, okay, these characters have been in other stuff, but they didn't try and tie in, say, the current TV shows. Like there's there's no I'm loving, I loved Daredevil, this new Daredevil one I thought was great. They don't try and tie any of that stuff into it. They just keep it separate and contained. Okay, if you didn't know them before, this is them now. And yeah, I like that. I think we don't need a fucking billion TV shows and a billion things happening at once. Let's just concentrate on the big movies you've got coming up, the fucking Doomsday and Secret Wars and everything. There's enough there to be getting on with without fucking a million TV shows that you have to watch in order to watch the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I echo that again. So I was worried, well, not worried, but I was thinking at one point, like, did I enjoy this a lot more? Or did I enjoy it, or was I surprised that added to my enjoyment? Because the MCU is so shit at the moment. But then again, I was looking forward to this, but not expecting a kind of course correction. And a lot of people online and stuff were saying, when the MCU is kind of floundering as it is, why is this movie like in the line of the run up to like Fantastic Four and then Doomsday. You're just kind of going, where is this going to sit in the grander MCU? Because the whole thing in this new phase of Marvel has just been like the absolute the glaring lack of star power, and you know, your Iron Mans and Captain Americas and stuff, and everyone else is just kind of going, it's kind of faltering, and you're kind of going, who are these fucking guys? But then it kind of it led into that really well in terms of, yeah, who are they? Like they're not Avengers, they're kind of like B-list Avengers, and
they make that comment plenty. Like
yeah,
it's referred to a lot.
That's the whole point of it, and those characters are aware of that. So they're kind of going, we're like, you see that in the trailer. It's like we're not fucking heroes. What the fuck are we supposed to do? And there are moments in it when they're facing a villain where you are kind of going, what are they supposed to do? How are they going to fucking solve this? How are they going to become the heroes? And I just love that. And that was the most surprising part of it, that I had heart, that the story themes and the tone of it worked. Like it shifts tone between humor, some of it lands, some of it's laughy, some of it's kind of smirky, and some of it doesn't land. But it shifts between that and then pretty dark themes, and then shifts back again, and just manages that brilliantly. And that's from a directing point of view. You're kind of going, that's just super solid. And it's the same in the screenwriting point of view. I just thought they were just very believable interactions between these people. It seemed like grounded is such a weird word to say in a movie like this, where you've got somebody floating around turning people into shadow dust on the ground, but there were just very just believable interactions between them, because they're talking about maybe something that's not interdimensional gateways or all this stuff. They're talking about pain and loss and this kind of stuff, and just feeling inadequate, and where's your place in the world and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, that David Harbour scene with Florence in the street, especially, was like an almost tearjerker. It was brilliant, like really, really good.
And it's a lot of them, like as you said, I think it's a lot of them, they're looking for redemption. These are teams that they didn't want to be a team. They kind of just got thrown together. But when you see like some of the stuff, as you said, from the past, and they have to face their facing their dark side, and they're hiding away from what they are, pretending they're different. Like you look at John's like, oh yeah, I am Captain America. I am the proper Captain America. Never mind this guy. I'm this, and like, okay, you guys are just nothing. I've got a wife and kid at home, and he's all. Yeah. Rav wants people to think that he wants everybody to think that he's the hero, when deep down he let all of this stuff get to him. And if you've watched the Winter Soldier or the Falcon Winter Soldier program, he literally does kill a dude with the shield, blood all over everything, like fucking like.
Is that how he's disgraced? Like, yeah,
like he's, because some people, they say they kind of, you take the super serum and you go one way, and if you're already maybe a bit unstable or anything, then it's going to just enhance that kind of stuff for him, and he gets massively over aggressive as that in that role. But I think each of them, and we get to see that other side of them. But you don't really get to see that with Ghost. Like you get that kind of them facing their demons, but you don't see it so much with Ghost, which is a bummer. And again, it's a small gripe. I just would have liked to have seen more, because I thought that character was intriguing. Her story was intriguing from like sort of the only decent part of that fucking second Ant-Man movie. So yes, that was a bit of a bummer, but yeah, I liked that it's going into darker themes. It reminded me a little bit of Iron Man 3. When Tony's having his panic attacks and stuff after what he thinks. It's good that we're actually getting to that kind of stuff.
Just real characters with real struggles.
Yeah, and you see a little bit of that as well in the TV show thing, in what's called Captain America, or whatever the fuck it is, Falcon the Winter Soldier. You see that like Sam doesn't have a proper job. Like he's helping working on a boat and stuff that isn't quite making enough money and all this, because they're not like. They're not all Tony Starks. They're not all fucking loaded and just get all this technology and do whatever they want. And there's just I like seeing that kind of side of it as well, to give that little bit of a realistic side to it. But again, realistic in the range of superpowered soldiers and fucking flying dudes and shit. Like, it's definitely. I'd like to see more of this kind of movie, and I think I agree with what you're saying. That kind of, it felt a little bit more contained. Although they give mention to the the Avengers and whatever else, it did feel way more contained. I think that's what really stands for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even though it tackles all those themes, there's a number of action scenes throughout that I thought were really well executed. I mean, not 180 million well executed, but enough that it ticks the action um, boxes for anyone who's going to see that. And cinematography for those scenes was fantastic. Like Andrew Draws Palermo, his cinematographer, I thought he did a wonderful job. Like this, the way he kind of tackling light and dark, especially towards the
Yeah,
in the last act, which we'll kind of get to later on. His use of dark and shadows is fantastic. But it looked like, actually I was surprised. I only checked the budget before we were recording. I was convinced it was going to be a lot less because it kind of, a lot of it looked, I know it's handheld and all that, but it looked kind of gritty and it didn't have that super sheen polish that general MCU kind of movies have, or movies that are in the higher budget bracket. I'd love to see a breakdown of where the budget was used. But yeah, there's a lot of heavy contrast, and color grading was really, really nice. It just had a kind of a grounded feel, gritty and urban, and I guess a lot of that is because a good portion of it is set in Manhattan towards the latter part of it. There's so many bits we can't we can't talk about.
yeah.
But yeah, the music. I was really surprised at the music. Like it's, I think it's from the band. I can't remember their name. Sun Lux or something like that. It's a band who did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
I think they were nominated for that, and they were nominated for every award under the fucking sun for that movie, for the music. I thought the music in this was excellent. It was especially towards the end of bits in the last act where it's obviously coming to a culmination, and the music's kind of swelling at certain moments, and it was just like, yeah, this is fucking great. It's just like a proper theme tune really coming out in the narrative. I loved that. I was a little disappointed that Starship's Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now was relegated to the end credits. That's not a spoiler. It's just like, where are they going to put that fucking song? Please be in it. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the music. It's the first time in a while that I've come out of a Marvel movie going, ooh, fucking that music's going to be pretty sweet. I'm guessing Fantastic Four will be the same.
Well, yeah, Michael Giacchino, isn't it, for
Yeah,
Fantastic Four? So that's bound to be that's bound to be awesome.
yeah,
Well, what's it called? I mean, that's I'm loving the look of that in general. I think when we saw IMAX getting the countdown at the start and that kind of
oh yeah, yeah,
retro
yeah.
Fantastic Four thing, I was like, I thought we were going to get some sort of surprise feature or something
Did
because it
they
was
put the
counting
wrong
down.
movie in?
I was like, oh, in a second, are we going to get like a 5 minute, an intro or something along those
Yeah.
lines? And no, we're just letting advertising for that. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, that was good.
As if the people going to this a Thunderbolts movie don't know there's a Fantastic Four movie coming out.
No,
You
yeah.
don't need to advertise it to these people.
I know, yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, music is great. Yeah, actually, yeah, we saw the Fantastic Four. It was a shame they didn't have trailer 2 on before this. Would have been fucking sweet. They had the teaser again. But yeah, on a side note, finally got to see a Superman trailer in IMAX on the big screen, and I wet myself several times. But yeah, is there anything else we can go through before we get into spoilers? Do not think so.
no, like I think we've covered like the performances. As I said, I don't know, but like there's no one I thought, nah, they're phoning it in or they're not. That's not great. I probably could have done. I honestly could have done without Bucky. To be honest, I know he's kind of kind of needed him for the
Yeah.
story, but I think you kind of.
He's
I think
there,
Bucky's
like he's
overstaying
kind of
his
there
welcome
to
at
tick
this
the
point.
boxes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's kind of there to, he's to connect the old to the new, I guess, in some ways. He's decent, and he's not. He doesn't take too much center stage. Like his arm gets a few showcase moments in the action scenes, which is pretty fucking badass. But like negatives, I guess, yeah, a bit more fleshing out of the characters, especially Ghost, and yeah, there was something I read somewhere online. Someone saying this. I think like whether you like this movie or not is down to whether you buy into the characters and their struggles and their kind of
Yeah.
respective bonding as a family. If you're not on board with that, I mean, you're probably not going to like it. But it seems a lot of people are liking it. But one of the negatives I think I saw online was somebody, and I hate this kind of thing, was somebody saying, "Yeah, it's all well and good, but it's missing a bit of color." And I said, literally in terms of the color palette, and figuratively in its subject matter, because it's a bit dour and it tackles all these things. Just going, What are you talking about? How is that a fucking negative? I hate when people go, yeah, didn't like it. There's not enough saturation, and it's just like fuck, just can't win. Like, fuck that. But yeah, let's get at the scores then. What would you give it?
Yeah, I think like I'd probably go. I'm not sure if I'd go full four.
Mm,
Somewhere between 3.5 and 4 for me. Like
mm,
it's really is just a good, solid superhero movie. There's not, it's there's no fucking like we've think of the ones we've had, with the Marvels, Quantum Mania, all these fucking things, and they just
mm.
gone. They were just bananas movies that just why the choices they made were all
Yeah,
over the place. This just was. It was dark. It was, as you said, self-contained. I really don't know. That 180 budget seems insane to me. I imagine
yeah.
depends how much went on salaries, I suppose. Because yeah, there's like maybe 3 to 4 like decent action scenes,
Mm.
but not anything that would,
But they're
would
not
warrant
massive, and
me.
they don't seem like,
No.
I'm sure there's a bit of VFX involved there, but nothing screams like uh, massive CGI fucking action scene. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah, and none of the
just like,
characters are CGI. Like it's not like
mm,
you're doing a Hulk or a Colossus or whatever. You know what I mean? It's I suppose some of their costumes do bits and pieces, but yeah, no, it's it is cool. Like it's I'm very happy that of the way it turned out. Like I know we said a few weeks ago when we watched the trailers that both of us were looking forward to it, and I'm
mm,
glad that I didn't walk out disappointed. So yeah,
mm.
somewhere between 3.5 and 4. I'm not sure. After we've talked through it a bit more in the spoilered section, I'll make a call on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same here. For me, it's a very high 3.5. Yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was just very, very surprised. And for a lot of this, I didn't really know exactly where it was going in terms of the narrative, which is pretty good because after watching 3 trailers for a Marvel movie, you pretty much can nail it beat for beat. So that was very pleasing, and acting is on point all the way through. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into some spoilers, of which there are a good few.
Yeah, I mean, geez, it's not been.
Yeah,
It's hard to give that review without talking about
very hard.
Sentry. I mean, that's
Yeah.
who Bob is. Bob is the Sentry, who is, and like with regards to age of these characters' creation, like
Mm.
he's only around since like 2000 or something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, so he's had a few different storylines. I think he was the Exile storyline. I think he was in that one, the one
Yeah.
we talked about how when we were trying to guess how they were going to do show
Mm.
Tony Stark being Doctor Doom and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like he's borderline like omnipotent, like he's godlike. You know
Mm.
what I mean? That it's no almost no limit to his powers. And when you get to see that fight when they all tried to fight him, when Valentina has talked him up and got him on side, and she's going to be, he's going to be her guy,
Mm.
and so they're fighting against him. Like they're nothing to him. It
Yeah.
isn't. It's like a bunch of toddlers jumping at Superman and him just fuck off.
Yeah.
It's not even that the punches are landing. Like they're breaking as if there is a force field around them, that the knives aren't even,
Yeah, trying to
and
stab him
kicks
in the
aren't even
face and
hitting.
just
Yeah,
breaking and
just
stuff.
it's nothing
That
to
was
him.
really impressive, and I just love
Yeah,
the way how ridiculous his costume is. Where even he's kind of like,
yeah.
the fuck is this? This kind of gold spandex fucking
But
thing.
I get, what I like that as well is that they do address that, because it's
Mm.
it's this guy is a package. He's a way for her to get power and for her
Mm.
for political career and all this kind of stuff. She wants this really packaged fucking superhero, and that's why
Mm.
he might as well have fucking Homelander's outfit
Yeah,
on,
it's
with
like,
a
what
fucking
does a
eagle and
god look
flag.
like? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, so she's like, oh, the power of 1,000 suns. It's all
yeah.
gold. She gets him to dye his hair blonde. Like it's
Mm.
for her, it's all about marketing, and that's why he's like, I'm not even sure about this suit. And they kind of, it's good that they kind of address it, because think about some of the shit some of their superheroes wear. It's fucking
Yeah,
bananas.
yeah, it's very
Like
true.
look at the Avengers movie Captain America, like with the fucking that helmet there, and then they obviously changed it as they went on and made it different, and eventually him just not wearing it at all. But it's
Yeah,
just,
it does. It's quite ridiculous.
yeah, but
But
like that, and
he's
you
great
see,
though.
but the power, but
Mm.
look at the powers he has. Like he's fucking telekinetic. Like he's fucking lifting them out. Like you just his power of his hand to fucking
Mm.
throw someone at the window, drag him back in. He can't be hurt. basically by seeing by anything. He can
He
fucking
melts a
fly,
gun in someone's hands,
melt.
and
Yeah,
afterwards you're
yeah,
like, "Okay, this is fucking Superman. What the fuck are they going to do?" And I loved that where they positioned this guy so ridiculously overpowered to the point where it's kind of like you buy into their thing afterwards. They're just like, what the fuck are we going to do? Like, we're not the guys for this, and rightly so. But Lewis in this role, like, I thought he was fucking excellent as Bob. Like, he has a lot to do, like a lot to
yeah.
do, like to go from becoming this like fucking godlike creature. And then when they find him at the start in that base, and he just has to. I just thought he was entirely believable as somebody who doesn't quite remember who he is, what is he doing, and he was a test subject and all this kind of stuff. But he has to do a lot of like himself and Florence have to do a lot of facial acting. His is kind of confusion and kind of bewilderment and stuff into becoming this fucking stoic godlike guy. And then Florence, obviously, she's apart from being gorgeous, she's got sensational face for IMAX in terms of just her acting prowess. She was fucking remarkable in this movie. Like I didn't even really remember much of her performance from Black Widow. I don't remember that movie too well at all. Just remember that final
Very
action
comedic.
scene where they're jumping around
Mm.
on the fucking things, whatever. She's more comedic in that. There's
Yeah,
not a lot of drama
she's
to it.
cracking a
Like,
lot. Yeah, she's cracking a lot of jokes in that one. Not like Peter Parker level kind of jokes, but
yeah,
she is taking the piss out of Scarlett Johansson quite a bit. But it's in this. I agree with you. I think they're kind of it evolves into them kind of being their connection. They
mm,
form a connection at the start where she doesn't just want to be this contract killer. She wants to be something more.
mm,
She wants to help people, and Bob's alter ego, I suppose, I guess you can call it that, the void that we see is just when people get sucked in there. So all those people who were, you see in the trailer getting boom, boom, getting
mm,
vanished, for everything, they must all be going to, are they just reliving one of their worst nightmares? That's what's
yeah.
happening to them in perpetuality. And that's so dark because she
It's
sees one of her
so
first ones, which
terrifying. Yeah,
is, yeah, like hers is when she had to lead this other girl to her death. And
in
it's
the woods.
fucking
Yeah,
dark
that
as shit.
was,
And
and she
she
has
has to
to replay
keep
it
seeing
over and
it,
over
keep
and
seeing
over
it.
and
Yeah,
over
yeah.
again.
But
Yeah, that was tough.
but one thing about it is, right, how did she know that all those people weren't just dying? Like, so at the end, at this
Mm,
big, huge battle they're having, he's casting this black shadow across the fucking city, and he just puts his hands out, and people turn into shadows across the ground, disappearing, and all the rest of it. She makes the decision that I need to go in here
mm,
and get Bob. How does she know that what he's doing isn't just
yeah.
killing everybody?
There was no
Because
cue. There's no visual cue that she didn't twig anything. You're kind of going, whatever.
no,
At one point, you're kind of going, is she just kind of giving up? And then you're kind of going, I don't know if that sits exactly right with that character at that moment. Maybe at a
but
certain different moment if you led into it that way. But it's kind of like if she doesn't know, and how does she know? Is she just stepping into what she thinks will be her death, and
yeah, but
then you
also
need
for me,
another scene then of her realizing, oh fuck, I'm actually, yeah. But it's like
but
she
for us
knew
as
in a certain
viewers,
weird,
like for
yeah.
us as viewers as well. I mean, you have to know straight away then that none of these people are dead because
Hmm.
there's no way Florence is dead. And if she's not dead after getting this shadow hit, then none of these people are dead. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, maybe they just didn't have anybody die. So then when they want to bring Bob in for future movies, he's not like a mass murderer, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. He killed fucking 100,000 people.
so no, I just gave them bad dreams for an
Yeah.
hour and a half or whatever. They're grand.
But that because obviously you see it in the trailer the way he's killing these people or just sending them to the shadow realm or whatever, and it's such a fantastic visual and the sound design
Yeah,
as well. It's like and they just get splattered into kind of like shadow dust on the ground, and to get something across like that that's so visceral and so like Jesus Christ without any blood or guts or whatever is just really admirable. And but the problem was we both kind of copped onto that very quickly before Florence steps into the shadow kind of realm herself. She's kneeling down helping a little girl, and then the girl just goes into fucking black or whatever. And that would have been very, very powerful. But straight away, you're just like, all right,
There's no way
there's
they're
no way
killing
they're
that little
killing the
kid.
girls. So like that, you just know they're not all dead. If they'd waited, built it up, and then you'd get your moment of the kid dying. But the minute you know that, you realize they're not all dead. But when they get in there, yeah, that's when it goes into kind of fully kind of comic movie mode where
And also, and confusing to me too, right? Because she
hmm,
goes in and they're like,
the
well,
rules are
we're
kind of
all
like,
have,
oh,
and they're like,
I
you
don't
don't
know
know if
what's
she's
going
dead
on.
or not. They're like, well, we're gonna have to go in after her. And so the whole fucking team decide to jump in after her.
Hmm.
And like, but when she goes in, she's stuck in her own place,
Yeah.
recording. And then they all, and then eventually she finds where Bob is, and Bob is almost trapped inside the void himself, inside
Hmm.
this room where he's kind of, this is his mental projection of this attic where he used to hang out when he was younger, when his abusive father would hit his mother and all this kind of shit. And that's cool. I like the idea that's his visual representation of his kind of safe space in this attic. And she manages to find her way in there. But the rest of them all find their way in there as well. So they
Hmm.
would have all gone in, all had to face their own separate horrible shit that goes
Hmm.
on. Fucking Walker and his wife and kid, leaving him a ghost and her dad dying and the people she's killed, all that kind of stuff. They all manage to get through all their stuff at the same time and are all arrive into the attic. I was like, hang on a fucking second. Like, yeah. And we don't
Where's
see
everyone
it.
else from
Yeah.
Manhattan? It's just like the whole of Manhattan's been turned into a fucking shadow bomb. So it's just like, what's like fucking 8 million people? Just like, where are they all just going, hey, wait. Yeah, you look like that bad guy. But yeah, that is, suspension of disbelief. It's a comic book movie. I mean, yeah, like I just wish there was it's a little bit clunky and a little bit, you're relying on just plot contrivances. Just like the plot has to happen, so they have to be there, and it's all well and good. But I love the way that they essentially kind of defeat the void with a massive just kind of group hug. Just like, yeah, let's all the fucking group hug.
And they smash the attic up as well.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
fucking I love Red Guardian just comes in and tears apart the pillow. You take that pillow.
Oh,
He's
it's fucking
brilliant.
deadly. But yeah, and I loved, like, as I always wondered, is it the same in the comics where they get the name from? Do you know anything about
Oh, the
that?
new when they give him the new Avengers.
Yeah, no, where they get the Thunderbolts, and it's like inspired by her childhood soccer team. Just
I haven't. I don't know. I don't think that the people on that team, as in Ghost and all the rest, are actually in the Thunderbolts that are mentioned in the comic. I don't. I think they're different.
like a
They're a
different
different
group.
team. I think.
Hmm.
I think what's his face is on it, John Walker, but I don't think some of the
Yeah,
others, Ghosts and stuff, are in Thunderbolts, as far as I know.
yeah.
Um,
I just love
but
the way they get their name from a soccer team. Just like, yeah, and they're arguing over who would sponsor the team. Okay. It's
but
just really good fun,
but
man.
yeah. I mean, I and again that just shows how small and how compared to what we see from the fucking Avengers, there are people known all around the world and that.
Hmm.
Whereas when these guys work together and they manage to stop the first thing, because what's his face is up, the sentry's up in the air before he comes out as his complete black looking thing. There's
Hmm.
bits and shit falling down from this, and they manage to save a bunch of people. And you can see that's it. There's the first time they're seeing a bunch of people in the thing are all just
Yeah.
crowd are all clapping for them and stuff. And it's just something that they're not used to. They're used to doing these fucking covert black op missions,
Hmm.
or they're disgraced, and this kind of thing. So it was cool to see that kind of moment of them working as a team and seeing what it could be. What did you think though of? So they're confronting Valentina. So they've after
Hmm.
getting Bob, they've gone through Bob's hug. And by the way, before we move on to that, how cool did he look as a void? Like that, just
It's
black
amazing.
kind of silhouette and the eyes,
Amazing.
and it's absolutely because even when he's getting hit by bullets, it's not. It's all you can see is just a slight ripple on the
Yeah.
black kind of thing. It's so good. The voice change is perfect.
Yeah, the voice is fucking brilliant. So like the seats were kind of rumbling, like the sound obviously in IMAX speakers is fantastic. But yeah, it's that visual of just that deep dark black where it's just there's nothing in it. Like a void.
yeah
It's like, yeah, there's no light or there's no refraction or anything. It's just this. It just looked so striking, so fucking striking.
yeah really
I'd
did yeah.
love a poster of him floating there over fucking Manhattan, just like with the little. The only thing you see, a little glints of his
just this
eyes.
glint.
Just,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
god.
yeah. It's really really great. Like, and then I think I said to you, like, I know there's different representations of the Void depending on
Hmm.
what comic you've read, but like sometimes it's you can see it's an actual monster, that you see this
Yeah.
fucking Void. Like, so I loved this way of doing
Hmm.
it, just having it just this complete blackout thing that takes over, and then we see him talking towards the end when he's like, you could help out anytime, and he's like, you can't, because if I do the good thing, there's the bad
Yeah.
thing there, and that's kind of
Yeah.
the way it is in the comics as well. Like, he can do incredible amounts of good for the world, but there'll always be the Void that'll be trying to do something just as bad,
Yeah.
to counteract, to
Just
make
to
it
try and
balance this
balance
yin
that.
and yang. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I think that's such a great dynamic to have in,
And
in a
interesting kind of going
in a comic
forward
book
because
character.
yeah, we can touch on the how the movie ends. And as you were saying there, where we get that reveal where it ends up that, and it's very convenient movie, like they're just like, oh, we'll just go after her, and then the whole press and stuff
Yeah, like,
around the
what are
other
the
side. It's
odds
like,
that
how
that was
would
the
you
thing?
not
It was
know
like,
that
yeah,
that
to
was there?
just because yeah, but they're just about to get her, and then she just
She
happens to have the
turns the
press to her
tables on
side. It
them.
was her plan all along. But like, at the
Mm,
same time, she could have tanked them. What? Why did they all just accept it? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, is it just now because they're like, well, look, we own you. We know
Mm.
we have all this information on you, so you have to give us whatever we want as the new
Maybe they're
Avengers,
using it
or
as leverage, but it's tied up a little quickly, and I know they've kind of given us glimpses of them being applauded by the people around the city and stuff, and maybe there is a glimpse of that. Oh my God, we could be heroes, and then when they're announced as like it's the new Avengers, and it really is. I didn't know how far they were going to go with that, and the fact that it is like, oh my God, it is actually this is the new Avengers. Um,
but again,
very
they
like interesting.
and they take the piss. Well, they'll not take the piss, but they do. They don't. So, like, I think it's the end of, is it Civil War? What's the one at the end of the movie where you see Age of Ultron? I think it's Age of Ultron when you see them come down. It's like, well, the team's breaking up, and it's like, well, what's the new team? And they walk
Oh
in,
yeah,
and it's like, it's Wanda,
yeah, yeah,
Vision, Sam. You're like, okay, this is a little underwhelming as the
yeah,
new
yeah, yeah,
group.
yeah.
Um, but they kind of call to that because when you see them and they have their little Avengers badges and they've been they're doing the job for whatever amount of months it says is the gap. Is it 12 months later or something it says? And they've been
16
doing the
months or
job.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so they even say then they're saying like, oh, talk about how they get bashed on social media and all this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that they're not. That's not my Captain America, and so they really
Yeah,
play
yeah.
into it. But yeah, you don't just have to accept them as a new Avengers. The general public in the MCU universe aren't accepting them either. That's not fucking Tony Stark. That's not Iron Man. He's not fucking. And I love that idea as well, that
Mm.
they're really trying to be heroes, but are not getting accepted by the public. Even I think that's a cool dynamic as well.
Yeah, and it's sets up future events very interestingly in Doomsday. I mean, because before that we get the Fantastic Four, and in one of our post credit sequences, we get like obviously the first one is that's the one with them 18 months
Well,
later, isn't it?
well,
Or whatever.
that's that. It's in that one. It's in that 18 months later. So you're getting the first one you get is Red Guardian in the supermarket because he's talking about
Oh
wanting to
yeah,
have this on the Wheaties
yeah,
box,
yeah.
and so yeah, he's
That's
in
great.
recommending Wheaties to some woman in the supermarket, and she's just creeped out by him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny, and then yeah, I think that's the
The next one we see them going around, yeah, sitting around, and that is as you said, the dynamic there that they've been doing the job really kind of works because it's a bit more silly, it's a bit more playful and kind of jokey, and like Red Guardian saying, "Oh, I've got Avengers with a Z, there's no copyright problem with that." And it's just fucking brilliant. I've got a suit for you, and she's like, "No one wants the suits." And then you can hear in the background, there's an incident, spatial incident or whatever, and they get it up on screen, and there's an interdimensional gateway or interdimensional ship comes through, and you see it, and we know straight away, just like, oh yeah, there we go, and you see the ship turns around, and you see the Fantastic Four logo on the side, and it's like, fuck yeah, bring it on. But there's not much between. There's like Fantastic Four and then Doomsday. That's it. So I mean, these guys are going to be the guys. They're going to they're the new Avengers. So um, it's interesting. Like Doomsday has a lot to do. That movie, like Avengers,
yeah.
has a lot to do. But yeah, at the end of this, I was even with the post credit sequences, just kind of icing on the cake. We kind of walk out, just going, "Oh yeah, happy fucking days." I really, really enjoyed that. I'd probably give it a 4, actually, to be honest. more I
Yeah,
talk about
talking
it.
through it like it is. It's I maybe rushed towards a little bit rushed towards the end.
Yeah,
Definitely, I think then too much convenience with
yeah,
regards to Valentina and all that shit. But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. This is one
mm,
I would definitely watch again whenever it hits
absolutely.
streaming because there's some good heart to it. There's some
Mm,
fucking cool action. A lot of it's a funny dysfunctional bunch working
mm,
together. It's kind of like what Suicide Squad could have been,
mm.
like if it wasn't shit, and that's
Yeah.
because they are just these bunch of people thrown together who don't necessarily want to have to work together, but they
Mm,
realize that there's a common enemy, and I just it's not exactly a new theme, but
mhm.
in general, but I think it really really works here.
Yeah. So yeah, go check it out as soon as possible.
Definitely. Nice one for taking us through that one, Daz.
Happy days.
So yes, and thanks everybody. Keep on sharing, commenting, all that stuff. And we will see you on the next one. I'm not even sure what it is next week, but we'll please God be as good as this and this one. So right, look, take it easy, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Ciao.